Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium Leviosa. Wingardium. Oh man. No wonder why I can't get a girlfriend. I can't get it up. Not the mat here. So today is the 20th. That's right. I bet you feel old about now. 20th anniversary of the first Harry Potter film. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone came out November 14th, 2001. This was the first big blockbuster post 9/11. 9/11 was just 2 months prior. The world was a very different place at the time. I know movie studios were worried, like, are people going to go to the movie theater? I mean, we just had this terrorist attack less than 2 months ago, or just over 2 months ago. And, things were very different at the time. And this was the first Harry Potter movie that was the most to launch, the franchise. Almost an unknown cast in the leads. Most of the adult cast were known. They had a director that was only really known for the Home Alone movies. So a lot was riding on this first Harry Potter movie. Obviously, it was a very successful film. I mean, if it wasn't for that first Harry Potter film, I think after the second one, they might have stopped doing Harry Potter movies. The only reason they would have at least done one more Harry Potter film was because they were already shooting The Chamber of Secrets. Since that was going to come out November 2002. So it was literally a year later we got the sequel. So they were already, if not already done shooting, and already in post-production. They were at least wrapping shooting of the second film by then. So like I said, we were at least going to get one more Harry Potter film if this first one didn't succeed. Luckily, the first Harry Potter film was a success. This first Harry Potter film for me, once again, I grew up with the Harry Potter movies, or the Harry Potter books, I say. I read them all. I remember when the first movie came out. By then we were in the middle between book 4 and 5. Book 4 came out in the summer of 2000. And then we didn't get book 5 till the summer of 2003. So in between those years, we got the first Harry Potter movie and the second Harry Potter movie. Pretty much every year we got something Harry Potter related. And the first Harry Potter movie for me was also the first movie I ever saw by myself in a theater. And I don't mean by myself like literally by myself. I mean no parents. That was the first movie I went to a movie without a parent coming. It was me, my friend and I, Billy Long. We went to the old AMC. That was at North Point Mall. You sat in the higher level, in the balcony seats, I guess you would call them. And like I said, that first movie was over 2.5 hours. That's a long movie. And to go see a movie like that for the first time by yourself was long. I was only in 6th grade, first semester of 6th grade, middle school. But let me get into some of the stuff that worked for the movie. Number 1, the world building. And, we talk about movies that start a new universe, a new franchise. And there are movies that do not world build enough. They don't get you into the world enough that after that first movie, you want to see more. Harry Potter, that first Harry Potter movie, did that right away. Between, the Dursleys, and then going into Hogwarts, and seeing Diagon Alley, and all of that. Then, then going to Hogwarts, and the school, and the uniforms, and the magic, and all that, and the good and the bad, the teachers, the professors. It really, in that 2.5 hours, it built the world up that you really thought this was a real place. The CGI was fine at the time. They really brought it to life. Only one time in that entire movie that I feel like, this looks fake. And that was literally in the very opening scene of the movie. When we see Dumbledore in the foresty thing coming up on the street corner where the Dursleys are. You see Hagrid coming down his little motorcycle, bringing baby Harry. The way that Dumbledore is walking in the frame, and all the background and all the stuff in the background and the foreground. I remember even at that time saying to myself, which at that time I was only just starting to get into film. I said, that was like a sound stage. That looked like it was done on a stage. And at that moment I thought, oh great, this movie's gonna suck. It's gonna look like, shitty, no budget film. Luckily I was wrong. But right then that opening scene I was just like, oh boy. We're in for disappointment. But luckily that was not the case. I would think one of the greatest things about the Harry Potter movies is the Harry Potter score from John Williams. That theme, that Harry Potter theme is so iconic now. I don't know if that sounded great or not, but you know what I'm talking about. You just go online. If you've seen a Harry Potter film, you know the Harry Potter theme. That's a given. So that was one of the main great things about the Harry Potter films. John Williams did a great job with Star Wars, and then he came over to Harry Potter and knocked it out of the park. Then the cast. First let's talk about the adult cast. Names that we do know at the time. Maggie Smith as McGonagall, Alan Rickman as Snape, Robbie Coltrane as Hagrid, Richard Harris as, at that time, Dumbledore. The adult cast was perfect for this movie. And then let's talk about the trio. Harry, Ron, Hermione. 3 unknown actors. I think Daniel Radcliffe was the only one who had some acting background. And let me tell you, when we talk about, to this day, one of the biggest, what if these actors are horrible? Our entire franchise is over. This was one of those, you better hope you got the right people. You better hope on your entire life, your parents' life, your kids' lives, your grandkids' lives, you better hope that this works out. Because if this does not work out, we are completely screwed. Not only that, not only are we completely screwed if the acting doesn't work, we are completely screwed if these actors end up growing up and looking ugly. I'm just going to say it. Let's be honest. Number two, they want to leave the franchise early. How many actors in other franchises leave after one or two movies? A good amount. And they want to leave the franchise, we're screwed. If they're horrible at acting, we're screwed. If they grow up and they look not good looking, we're screwed. If any of them get in trouble, especially teenage actors, how many teenage actors do we know of that, especially in the 2000s, Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, Macaulay Culkin, I don't know what happened with Haley Joel Osment, but he disappeared for a while. But, you know, a lot was riding on these three actors. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint. And let me tell you, whoever that producer was, David Hyman, I think it was, knocked it right out of the park. I mean, or if it was Chris Columbus, the director, he knocked it out of the park. To this day, everyone will say, you cannot remake Harry Potter. Not because you don't have the source material, not because the special effects aren't up to date, but you will never find three actors. You will never find three actors like these three. This was magic in the water, as they say. You will never find these three again. And I think that is a testament of that first movie, of the franchise as a whole. The franchise was able to go 10 years, 10 years, and not miss a beat. Just keep getting better and better. And the acting of those three got better and better and better. In fact, to this day, Emma Watson, who played Hermione, I would say has had the best career out of all of them, and has shown her range as an actress, even more so outside of the Harry Potter films. But because of the Harry Potter films, she has grown into a better actress. You will never find another three. It doesn't matter if they say we're going to remake Harry Potter. That's why when they're talking about doing the Cursed Child and maybe adapting that play into a movie, but fitting it more with the trio and bringing back Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, I say, do it. Do it. Because you're never going to find three actors that can do what they did. Never. And I will say to this, if this is from Chris Columbus, the director, if he was the one that picked, I can't remember if he was the one that picked these three, but if he did, this dude is a miracle worker. I mean, people do know Chris Columbus directed Home Alone 1 and 2 with Macaulay Culkin. And he's the one that picked Macaulay Culkin to play the role. And look at the Home Alone sequels without Macaulay Culkin. We had that new Home Alone movie that just debuted this weekend on Disney Plus. Home Sweet Home Alone. I'm going to watch it later. But none of the other Home Alone movies have been able to capture the magic of those first two Home Alone movies. Number one, because of Macaulay Culkin. So, the trio is still was the winning lottery ticket. And then, like I said, the legacy. This franchise was able to go for 10 years. 10 years. And they were able to do all the Harry Potter movies. Adapt all the Harry Potter books. Yes, there was a moment, I think it was by the fourth movie, or fifth movie, that Emma Watson wanted to leave. Because she wanted to go off to college. So, she didn't want to leave because she didn't want to do the movies anymore. She didn't want to leave because of bad behavior. She wanted to leave to go to college. I mean, you can't say no to that. But she still finished the franchise and worked around college for that first year or two. But like I said, the legacy, the movies have made over $1 billion. They've done spin-off with the Fantastic Beasts movies that, even with that trio that they have in the Fantastic Beasts movies, still do not measure up to the trio of the Harry Potter films. So, once again, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. You know, if it wasn't for that first movie, we probably wouldn't have gotten any of the other books adapted into movies. So, 20 years later, I feel old. You should feel old. And like I said, that was the first movie I ever saw in theaters by myself. So even if the movie wasn't good, it still will always have that little thing of, that was the first movie I ever saw by myself in the theater. So, that's all. If you haven't seen the first Harry Potter movie in a while, I recommend going to watch it. Perfect timing, since, like I said, November was when most of the Harry Potter movies were released. So, great time to go back and watch the movies all over again. That's all for today. Matt the Matt here. Goodbye.